what's good? I'm Coach Colin Castello with Shotmechanics Basketball, and in today's video, I'm going to break down and tell you why I think Trae Young is the best point guard in NBA history. Wait, that sounded strange just saying it out loud. All right, so I know this probably sounds crazy, and right now you're going, man, I got clickbaited, but I've got stats and I've got things to back it up. So stick with me because I'm about to blow your mind. But before we jump into it, if you want to score the basketball at a high level and increase your points per game, all you got to do is click the top link in the description down below and get free access to my Instant Buckets workout. This is a workout I put together to help you instantly increase your points per game scoring average. So all you got to do is click down below and get quick access today. All right, so as you probably know, Trae Young has been lighting up this season early. And even with an ankle sprain, he's still putting up numbers that are almost unprecedented from the point guard position. So it got me thinking, where does this put Trae Young as far as his development in comparison to some of the best point guards in NBA history? And what I found once we dug into the data is it's actually pretty astonishing. So what I'm gonna do is compare him to 5 of the best point guards in NBA history, and we're gonna see where his stats compare and where he's looking at right now. So first off, we gotta start with John Stockton. He's the all-time NBA assist leader and regarded as one of the best passers in NBA history because of it. Now, what's insane is that Trae's passing numbers right now are far ahead of where John Stockton has ever been. So as of recording this video, Trae Young is currently averaging 8.7 assists per game and 26.8 points per game scoring. Now, if we compare that to John Stockton's best season, his best season assists per game were 14.5, so that was really good, but his points per game were only 17.2. Now, one thing to keep in mind is John Stockton's best season came in 89 and 90 when he had already been in the league for 6 years. So he was much more mature, much older, and had developed a lot by that time hit. So although that 15 assists per game is still really impressive, Trae Young being at 8.7 in his second season is even more impressive to me. So compared to John Stockton's second season in the league, he averaged 7.4 assists and 7.7 points per game at the age of 23. So not only was he 2 years older than Trae, but he was averaging less assists and a lot less points. So at this pace, there's no doubt in my mind Trae is going to blow past John Stockton on the list of great NBA point guards if he can keep it up. All right, so next, let's look at Jason Kidd, who's number 2 on the all-time passing list. So in Jason Kidd's best season, he was 25 years old, and it was his 6th NBA season. He averaged 10.8 assists per game and 16.9 points per game. So right now, not only is Trae Young just barely under that in assists, but he's also blowing it out of the water in points. And he's much younger than Jason Kidd was at the time. So compare Jason Kidd's second year to Trae Young's year now, Jason Kidd averaged 9.7 assists per game and 16.6 points per game at the age of 22. So at this point in time, not only was Jason Kidd just barely averaging more assists than Trae Young, but Trae was absolutely blowing his scoring out of the water. All right, next, let's move to the 3rd all-time assist leader, Steve Nash. Now, Steve Nash was absolutely phenomenal, 2-time MVP, and really kind of revolutionized the pace and space offense that the NBA is still using today. But when we look at his numbers compared to what Trae Young is doing this season, it is absolutely mind-blowing how on pace Trae is to be one of the great point guards of all time. So in Steve Nash's best MVP season, he averaged 11.5 assists per game and 10.5 points per game. And that was at the age of 30 and 31. And not only that, this was 9 seasons into Steve Nash's career, so he had a lot of time to develop, a lot of time to get better, and he had a bunch of fantastic teammates around him to make a lot of those assists count. So when you compare that to Trae Young, sure, he might not be averaging as many assists as Steve Nash in this season, but he's scoring a lot more points, and he's working with a lot younger team that isn't going to give him as many assist opportunities. Now, obviously, when you're comparing these two, Steve Nash has Trae Young pretty well in the assist category right now. But if you look at Steve Nash's second year in the league, he only averaged 3.4 assists per game, and he was a lot older than Trae Young. So holy crap, I hope your mind's being blown, because mine was when I started sifting through this data, and we're not done yet because we still got to talk about Magic Johnson. So Magic Johnson is widely considered the best passer of all time, and his flair and showmanship was something that the NBA had never seen before. So what's really cool though is if we look at his statistics, Trae Young is right there with him. So statistically speaking, Magic Johnson's 5th season was his best one, averaging 13.1 assists per game and just over 17 points per game. So when you compare that to Trae, sure, Trae's assists are still lacking in comparison, just like he was to Steve Nash, but his points per game are really making up for that production. Now, for the second season in the NBA, Magic's kind of the closest comp that we have to Trae Young as far as the numbers that he's putting up. So when you look at Magic Johnson's second year in the NBA, he averaged 8.6 assists per game and 21.6 points per game. So when we look at Trae, those numbers are starting to look pretty close, except for Trae still scoring more buckets. And when you look at Magic Johnson's age, he was 21, the exact same age as Trae Young. So it's insane to think about Trae Young is putting up the exact same numbers as Magic Johnson did with a lot less talent on the team around him. All right, now next, this wouldn't be an all-time point guard list if I didn't at least talk about Steph and Curry in the comparison. So a lot of people want to compare Trae to Steph Curry because they shoot so similar and they shoot from so deep and all that sort of stuff, but I really see Trae as kind of a hybrid of Steph Curry and Steve Nash. Now, if we look at Steph Curry's best MVP season, he put up some insane numbers. So he averaged 6.7 assists per game and 30.1 points per game, and it was his second MVP season at the age 27. So what's insane is Stephen Curry's unanimous MVP season. Trae Young is already averaging 2 more assists per game than that, and he's averaging just a few points less, which is absolutely incredible because if you remember when the Steph Curry season happened, everybody was hyped. Everybody was like, this is something we've never seen before. So right now, Trae Young is doing something unprecedented in his second season. So let's compare that to Stephen Curry's second season as well. So in Steph's second season at the age 22, so 1 year older than Trae, he averaged 5.8 assists per game and 18.6 points per game, which is still really good for a second-year player. It's just that Trae is doing things unbelievable. The second thing you have to think about from a historical standpoint is the game has changed a lot since the guys like Magic Johnson and even Jason Kidd played, right? So Trae Young's getting a lot more opportunities, there's more possessions, they're shooting more threes, and because of that, it's a little bit easier for him to rack up those, statistics. But don't get it twisted. Trae Young is a dual threat who could score points, get his teammates involved, and I think he has an opportunity to become the best point guard in NBA history. So if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell notification, and then leave a comment in the comment section down below and let me know what sort of breakdown you want to see next and who you think is the best NBA point guard in all of history, because I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. And don't forget, if you want to score more points, all you got to do is click the top link in the description down below, get free instant access to my Insta Buckets workout. That way we can increase your points per game and help you dominate each and every single time you step on the court. All right, again, I'm Coach Colin Castell with Shotmechanics Basketball. Thanks for watching, and until next time, splash on.